remember a decade ago reading in the BBC that the unelected dictatorial EU wanted to ban nationalist names for EU sports teams, particularly soccer, football, because it gave the wrong idea of nationalism. And then I saw headlines this week saying, well, only soccer can have nationalist names. Everything else is xenophobic and hateful. It's big mega corporations just getting rid of any territorialism you have, so you roll over to whatever it is they're bringing in, which I will assure you is 100 times worse than whatever nationalistic system you already had, where generations of people fought and died to scratch out some basic freedom. Doesn't mean we've got some utopia we're dealing with, but a bunch of 100 billionaires like Bezos and Gates and Buffett and all these other creatures, these jerks who are tax exempt and write the law, so telling people making $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year or 80,000 pounds a year or euros a year that we are greedy because we only pay 50% in taxes? What frickin' crazy, hypocritical planet are these a-holes living on is the big question. Now, we're only 18 minutes out. It's 7:42 Central, 8:42 Eastern. Guess that'd be 6:42 Mountain, 5:42 Pacific. On one of the most historic, they're saying the most historic nominations ever, because if Trump actually nominates a constitutionalist, be it a conservative, libertarian, just somebody who believes in free market, this will devastate the globalists unless they try to assassinate the court. Don't put that past them. So this is a big deal. We've got Raymond Kethledge. I'm pronouncing that right for the 10th time. I've been saying it wrong all day. And we've got others here, but I'm told that it's Raymond Kethledge and Thomas Hardiman that are in the lead from my White House sources. But the last information I got was this morning. I've called my sources, and they said Trump held it close to his vest until about 3 hours ago. And then I've not been able to get a hold of people since then, but they've had whoever the winner is obviously driving over to the White House for the announcement to be made. But we're going to be tracking this as it unfolds, because this isn't like the Super Bowl, or it really doesn't count because it's only a game. This is the real world, and the globalists were within inches of turning us into Venezuela or North Korea. I mean, that's where they want to take us. So we're breaking it all down. Roger Stone, former head of the 2016 Trump campaign and Trump wingman of 40-plus years, to talk about the epic victories we're seeing. You may have had some intel while you've been waiting on hold for 15 minutes. I know you were on the War Room earlier that you host every day with Owen Schroyer, 3 to 6 p.m. Here we're in live extended coverage right now. What's your latest intel, and what's your prediction, and where would you say we are historically right now, Roger Stone?
Well, the most predictable thing about Donald Trump is that he's completely unpredictable, Alex. You'll notice on Saturday, he was telling the press that he had it down to 2 or 3 candidates. By Sunday, he was saying, well, I have it down to 4. Sounds like the list was growing. It is known that Judge Thomas Hardiman is a close friend and served on the bench with Marianne Trump Berry, Donald Trump's sister, a brilliant judge and lawyer in her own right, who was first appointed to the bench by Ronald Reagan, then elevated on the bench by Bill Clinton. And she is known to have a high regard for Hardiman, and they served in the same circuit. At the same time, you have to believe that they're counting votes, and there's a recognition when Rand Paul said that he couldn't see himself voting for Kavanaugh. That plus the potential loss of Collins and Murkowski, the 2 women pro-choice Republicans, Susan Collins, who I know well and like, I just disagree with her on everything, and Senator Murkowski, who I don't know, that would mean a net loss of 3. Tough to see the president pulling an extra Democrat, which he would.
So as much as we like Amy Barrett, she's too conservative when it comes to pro-life.
No, I don't. I would put it another way. The liberals would make her faith an issue unfairly.
But why not go into that lion's den? Why not show how they're anti-Christian, anti-Catholic?
I would not be unhappy with her appointment at all. I would be enthusiastic and full-throated. I also think Judge Kethledge who's more Gorsuch-like and has a more slightly more libertarian streak, brings something else, which is diversity. He didn't go to Yale. He didn't go to Harvard. He didn't grow up wealthy. He didn't come from the right families and go to the right law schools. He wasn't in the Washington, New York corridor. And I think that has value. The middle class should have a representative on the court also.
No, here, we don't need just Yale and Harvard white shoe boys. So it's down to Raymond Kethledge and it's down to Thomas Hardiman, at least from our sources. But like you said, we could end up getting Barrett, the one you've been trying to shoot down for a couple of weeks, and then obviously now Rand Paul's come out against, and that's the Bush, never Trumper individual that they thought that they could sneak through. Is there any chance that Trump goes off the rails or does something that we don't know about? Because just because this guy convinced him, because the word is that he could still go with Kavanaugh.
Well, it's a very interesting question. Remember that the vice president met with every one of these candidates, as did the president. He spent substantial time with each of them. And then the president and the vice president and Melania Trump dined privately to discuss their joint feelings. We don't know what happened in that meeting, and we don't know who, if anyone, Pence pushed. But the fact that Kavanaugh's political godfather is Karl Rove, the fact that without dispute, as a young prosecutor, Brett Kavanaugh was involved in bully tactics against an inconvenient witness in the Vince Foster death inquiry, certain to come up in his confirmation hearings, very controversial. Anytime you are surveilling, threatening, bullying, intimidating a private citizen because of what they saw, I think they call it witness tampering, that's not the kind of person I want on the Supreme Court. And those charges that Cliff Kincaid has reported them, I mean, they are well documented in a lawsuit. So why does the president need those kind of confirmation headaches? He's been a cleanup man he's close to the Bushes, but he was essentially a cleanup man.
And we're all going to find out Trump's usually about 10 minutes late to build suspense. So we're potentially 12 minutes out for the announcement. I would guess we're about 25 minutes out from him coming out on stage and making the announcement. We'll be covering it all live here. At a gut level, do you agree? I talked to you this morning. I talked to several other sources. They were all on the same page. Raymond Kethledge or this Hardiman. But Trump holds things close to the vest. But I talked to people that talked to Trump as of yesterday, and that was who. This isn't Breitbart. I'm not bashing Breitbart. It's not ABC News. This is people in the room with Trump, and they say it was down to that yesterday. But like you said, Trump never lets anybody know till the last minute. He obviously called whoever it was 3 hours ago to the White House. We don't know yet. What's your gut level? Let's hear your pick.
Well, I saw the Breitbart story, but I couldn't tell if they were so much promoting the candidates they like as reporting hard news. I like those folks over there.
I do too.
But I guess I would say that the candidate who poses the least problems in confirmation is probably Kethledge, and that may in the end be what gives him the edge.
I agree.
I like Judge Barrett. I admire her. And I'd be, she'd have to go through fire, but I'd be right there. I've already told you what I think of Kavanaugh. Hardiman is, he's a moderate Republican. I've explained why he's on the list. I don't know enough about him, but as I said earlier, I'll support whoever the president nominates because it will certainly be better than what we have in the liberal
But it sounds
bloc.
like you're saying right now, at least from the best info we have, it's Kethledge.
That's a hunch, so just kind of a deduction. But again, the president conferring with Mitch McConnell as to who was most easily confirmable, and the similarities between Gorsuch and Kethledge being kind of significant. I think that he might be the strongest candidate from a confirmation point of view.
How angry do you think the Bushoids are if Brett Kavanaugh goes down?
They will be furious because they were trying to manipulate the president into doing this. Look, Alex, It's not coincidental that a week ago, all the mainstream media were saying Kavanaugh has it in the bag. That's Karl Rove and his little DC Bush minions pumping
Exactly.
that
When I
story
saw
out.
that, like over July 4th, I thought Trump's smarter than that. When he turns on the news and it's Kavanaugh, 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 you know what Trump's going to do. If they were smart, they'd have come out against Kavanaugh.
The Bushes are trying to create a self-fulfilling prophecy here. But is he another Souter? Is he another John Roberts? I mean, in those cases, Supreme Court justices appointed by the Bush presidents have abandoned us on key issues.
Yeah, they're leftist globalists. But if they go with Barrett, who I like her record, I like her looks, I like the fact that she's the youngest, will she become another Robert Bork is the problem.
Well, I think that you've got, in Coney Barrett, you probably have the most conservative of these jurists. I think she would be a solid pick. I think Kethledge is dependable. I haven't had enough time to study Hardiman. He's kind of a dark horse whose name only began to pop up on Sunday. And of course, we've already addressed the question of Brett Kavanaugh. He was definitely the inside the Beltway favorite. Came out of the D.C. circuit, which is the swamp, and he is the candidate of the political, the Bush Clinton establishment forces.
Well, let's talk big picture here before we go to this live feed. And guys, keep that live feed from the WhiteHouse.gov up there on the screen off and on, because sometimes Trump goes to things on time, about 90% of the time, 10, 12 minutes late. So, and again, I figure in about 20 minutes, 18 minutes, we're going to get the big announcement here. But this is a real war. It's everything we've been fighting for, everything we've been pushing. The economy's coming back. The jobs are coming back. Self-reliance is coming back. A sense of Americana is coming back. A sense of celebrating capitalism. A sense of taking care of our veterans. A sense of having a pro-human future. It's really exciting. And I just want to take some time out here with Roger Stone, not to complain, but to tell you we're all in this animating contest of liberty. And I'm very, very honored to be here with you, because we have George Soros, we have Hillary Clinton on record and their law firms suing Roger 10 times, InfoWars 20 times. Roger just had a big suit that Obama publicly funded with his former law firm. They admitted in Politico a year and a half ago when Trump won. They said, we've formed this to sue the president and to sue Stone to shut him down. That got thrown out last week on July 4th, almost no coverage. People say, oh, great, you're beating these. Well, yeah, it's like you got to fight 20 guys. And yeah, you kick 10 of their asses and there's 10 more. It's like a certain point you're like, yeah, I'm winning here, but this isn't feeling too good. So all I'm telling listeners, and go ahead.
$250,000 to win that dismissal. You see, it was dismissed on jurisdictional reasons, but the point is, it's because they could not tie me anyway to the conspiracy that they claim happened in Washington, D.C. So it is an exoneration, and it felt good pushing back up against these Ivy League pukes who had no evidence whatsoever of their fanciful, crazy idea.
And that was a big Democrat judge. But if they allow this through, all law's over, because all these lawsuits are made up, but we've got to fight them because top lawyers, like you're almost up to 1 million with all the lawsuits total.
I'm projected to get there. I mean, it's just ridiculously expensive between the DNC suing me, the Obama people suing me, an exotic Chinese billionaire suing me.
You just won the defamation suit. Yeah, we're going to stop right there. Exactly. All I'm saying to listeners is it's so critical that we sell great products already, and we have a donate button at InfoWarsStore.com. But, I mean, you need water filtration. You need air filtration. You need non-GMO heirloom seeds. You need emergency radios. You need tactical gear. You need books and films and, Reelect 48, Reelect 45 shirts, having 40 slips here. All of it at InfoWarsStore.com. And you need to donate to Roger Stone as well, because, yeah, we can do a fundraiser and raise $20,000 extra dollars in a day, but we don't do these but every few months, and then it doesn't add up to enough. Then it shuts down the expansion we're doing in the face of the globalists, which is their plan. So I've got to end the Second American Revolution, 4th of July super sale that we started last week tomorrow. It's going to end tomorrow. I've got some new specials, which will be a couple items that are new coming in, but I've got to cut the ads tomorrow. I'm so busy getting news out, I haven't done it. So take advantage of Brain Force Plus, now at 20% more in each bottle, at 50% off and free shipping. We've got all the other products at 50 to 40% off. Unprecedented sales. Those have got to end. $100 off the Alexa Pure Breeze Ion 4-stage filter. Amazing. I use it in my house, office. It's incredible. Leading competitors are 2 or 3 times more just because they're ripping you off. We have less than 100% markup at regular price. Right now, the markup discounted is about a 50% markup. So, I'm making like $40, and so is the manufacturer. So we sell a lot of them. People know what they're shopping for, but we are true to our name. It's InfoWar. Our products are amazing. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. You cannot get better products for better prices and at the same time fund an operation savagely, quite frankly, just insanely committed to defeating the globalists. Now, that said, Roger, tell folks we sell both your books, The Making of a President, and then also your newest one, Stone's Rules, InfoWarsStore.com. But let's just be honest. Even if you sell 100,000, 200,000 books, you make a couple dollars off each one. That's not going to pay for what you're doing. They're trying to bankrupt you. If they can shut you down, it's a victory. So how do people donate to your legal defense fund?
Well, you can buy my book at the Infowars.com store. It does help. But you can also go to StoneDefenseFund.com. I have to contend with both the Senate, Judiciary, and Intelligence Committee investigations, plus a hard-charging Robert Mueller poking through every molecule of my life. So yes, your donation would be a godsend, and I would thank you for it. They want me to flip and testify against the president. That's never going to happen.
Let's be clear.
I appreciate the opportunity, Alex.
You bet. Everybody's like, oh, Trump's in, he's winning. I saw numbers where there's record low attendance at pro-gun events, and we see people kind of going to sleep. Not our audience, but a lot of getting Trump elected was only the beachhead, like getting troops on the shore at Normandy. Now we're facing the Battle of the Bulge and the Hitlerian counteroffensive, if you want to use a World War II allegory or parallel, and it certainly works. I mean, and we're going to beat them, Zeb Dietrich and the rest of the Third Reich here at the old Maginot Line, but where the World War I was first started with France, but after the invasion of Poland and Czechoslovakia, if you want to get in Danzig and other areas, but if you want to get technical, it really kicked off with that invasion. And we're here. And I'm not saying we're fighting Nazis. It's an allegory. And so understand, we're not talking. They're coming after us. They're trying to shut us down. It's not just like, okay, these guys talked about it. They'll be okay. Let's see what happens to them, like you're watching a pit bull fight. No. You feed a pit bull. I'm not saying pit bull fighting is good. It's bad. You feed a pit bull, you get them ready, you fight them, and then you throw them in a ring and they kill each other. Everything you do financially supporting us and spreading articles and videos and links is like our energy level in a video game. So we're out here kicking butt, having a huge victory. Our local radio stations are, our TV stations are as well. Please support them. But when you don't donate and when you don't spread the articles and videos, our life level, we should do a whole ad like that. It's showing like we're fighting, we're winning, but the life's going down. Even to swing our sword, even if we don't get hit, it takes our energy. And so we hack a bunch of zombies and then we're super tired, can't lift the sword. And so many times the zombie's about to get us and you donate and my sword goes, we're like being able to, but I mean, it gets close sometimes. So understand we are neck and neck, ladies and gentlemen, and we need your financial support at InfoWarsStore.com. We have gift cards. We have Patriot points, 5% on every order. We have free shipping on $50 or more. We have auto ship where it's free shipping when you sign up for auto ship. Things like supplements and vitamins and minerals you're going to want to reorder, or Patriot coffee grown in Chiapas, southern Mexico. Basically, it's like Guatemalan coffee, but better. It's all there. So you go get great products and you get a free country. You cannot make a better bet than InfoWarsStore.com, period. All right, let's pull up the WhiteHouse.gov. We're still waiting on the president, aren't we here? All right, let's go ahead and fade up the audio just so we get the room noise of what's happening here. Because, again, everybody builds up the Super Bowl and 80 million tune in. And it's, let's see a bunch of steroid heads and spoiled, rotten narcissists. I'm not against all football. I like it. There's a bunch of sickness there. That doesn't affect my children. Something like this, a pro-Second Amendment candidate, a pro-sovereignty, a pro-capitalist candidate, Yeah. Ann Coulter's saying it's Kavanaugh. Well, that is not a good thing. Ann Coulter, love her to death. She's a nice lady, but boy, is she a grandstander. And if she's right, I'll say she's right. And I'll kiss her white derriere. But I got to tell you, she so many times just pulls stunts to get headlines. Pull that up, put it on screen if I can see that. Ann Coulter, where is she saying that? It's Kavanaugh, CNN, and everyone else is reporting it. I don't believe anything CNN says. Let's see it. Let's pull up the president. Roger, pipe in here. There is Melania. Do you really think it's Kavanaugh? Could that be possible, Roger?
All I have seen is what you just showed us, Alex. I have no idea what Ann Coulter's source. Looking very closely, I don't see and reporting that. So,
yeah, we've got Fox, CNN, C-SPAN. We've got it all on here. Anybody seeing that?
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, isn't it true that Coulter? I'm not going to say she's past her expiration date, but it's constant stunts. Like they ought to thank people for radiation in Fukushima.
she's a friend of mine. So, and who would I be to criticize somebody for saying something on Twitter where I've been banned for life? Peter Fonda can advocate the violent rape of the president's son, and he's still on Twitter. But I hurt Jake Tapper's feelings, and I am banned for life.
But we push you back out at Real Alex Jones and at Prison Planet. But you're absolutely right. I'm not bashing her. I just hope this isn't true.
I agree with you. I think we're going to know literally momentarily. The First Lady is there, and the president now is
Ladies and
stepped
gentlemen,
to the
president.
Yeah, let's do it. Go ahead, full screen.
States.
president's looking healthy.
My fellow Americans, tonight I speak to you from the East Room of the White House regarding one of the most profound responsibility of the President of the United States, and that is the selection of a Supreme Court justice. I've often heard that other than matters of war and peace, this is the most important decision a president will make. The Supreme Court is entrusted with the safeguarding of the crown jewel of our republic, the Constitution of the United States. 12 days ago, Justice Anthony Kennedy informed me of his decision to take senior status on the Supreme Court, opening a new vacancy. For more than 4 decades, Justice Kennedy served our nation with incredible passion and devotion. I'd like to thank Justice Kennedy for a lifetime of distinguished service.
All right, get ready for it. History happening right now. The word is it's Kavanaugh. And maybe he had a private talk with Trump, and Trump's got a sixth sense. He's going with him. But if that's it,
I will announce my selection for Justice Kennedy's replacement. This is the second time I have been faced with this task. Last year, I nominated Judge Neil Gorsuch to replace the late, great Justice Antonin Scalia.
Trump is definitely savoring this. After all he's gone through, the persecution of him and his family, being able to shove it up the globalist derriere is a big bonus.
Justice Gorsuch because I knew that he, just like Justice Scalia, would be a faithful servant of our Constitution. We are honored to be joined tonight by Justice Scalia's beloved wife, Maureen.
So what we need is a defender, a strict constructionist.
Thank you, Maureen.
Trump was on time for this.
Justice Kennedy and Justice Scalia were appointed by a president who understood that the best defense of our liberty and a judicial branch immune from political prejudice were judges that apply the Constitution as written.
Strict constructionist.
That president happened to be Ronald Reagan. For this evening's announcement, we are joined by Ronald Reagan's Attorney General, Edwin Meese. Ed? Ed, I speak for everyone. Thank you for everything you've done to protect our nation's great legal heritage. In keeping with President Reagan's legacy, I do not ask about a nominee's personal opinions. What matters is not a judge's political views, but whether they can set aside those views to do what the law and the Constitution require. I am pleased to say that I have found, without doubt, such a person. Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
So, Coulter is right. Well, he must have told Trump, because he has a good record as a judge. Just his political leanings are really bad. The neocons and never-Trumpers, so he must have convinced Trump. So I go with what President Trump's saying and doing. It's just he hasn't let us down yet, so we'll give him benefit of the doubt. Talk to Roger Stone in a moment. Roger, pop in if you want here.
Sure. Well, obviously, I laid out the hazards quite publicly of Brett Kavanaugh. As I said today, I'll support whoever the president nominates. I am not arguing that Kavanaugh was not a conservative jurist who was right on virtually all of the issues. I was disturbed by his apparent violations of someone's civil liberties as a prosecutor and his closeness to the Bush.
I was about to say, I mean, Karl Rove is frothing to get Trump, and this is...
So from that point of view, I think he's taken the inside the beltway choice.
Real quick, let's go back to Trump, to the president. Here it is.
And Liza have joined us on the podium, and thank you and congratulations to you as a family. Thank you.
I think he's going with a quick nomination because he does have a decent record as a judge. It's just politically, it's God Almighty.
Credentials, unsurpassed qualifications, and a proven commitment to equal justice under the law. A graduate of Yale College and Yale Law School, Judge Kavanaugh currently teaches at Harvard, Yale, and Georgetown. Throughout legal circles, he is considered a judge's judge, a true thought leader among his peers. He is a brilliant
So we go back
jurist.
to the white shoe thing of Yale and Harvard and just, you know, right there. But I don't think this will appease the establishment. I mean, we'll see in time how this judge turns out, but it's better than what Hillary would have done, you know.
Just like Justice Gorsuch, he excelled as a clerk for Justice Kennedy. That's great. Thank you. Great. Judge Kavanaugh has devoted his life to public service. For the last 12 years, he has served as a judge on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals with great distinction, authoring over 300 opinions which have been widely admired for their skill, insight, and
Well, he did rule for the
rigorous
Second Amendment, D.C. Heller.
to the law. Among those opinions are more than a dozen that the Supreme Court has adopted as the law of the land. Beyond his great renown as a judge, he is active in his community. He coaches CYO basketball, serves meals to needy families, and having learned from his mom, who was a school teacher in D.C., tutors children at local elementary schools. There is no one in America more qualified for this position and no one more deserving. I want to thank the senators on both sides of the aisle.
Let's fade the president down for just a moment. I mean, Trump hadn't steered us wrong. Every time I think he is, it's a good thing. But Kavanaugh is who we knew they wanted. It's who Coulter said they were going to have. Now they've done it with some of his problems. But you've got to know he checked the votes in the Congress, in the Senate, and decided that this was who he needed to go with. So this is not a Hillary judge. But if it's anything like the Bushes have done in the past, he will go from a conservative voting record to a more globalist one. But I guess we're going to find out. Time will tell. Roger?
I think, Alex, you're exactly right. Is he going to be a Souter? Is he going to be a Roberts? We're going to find out in short order. I I really don't think he can be trusted when push comes to shove, given his cleanup job.
Oh, he's about to speak. Let's go to Kavanaugh. Here it is.
Mr. President, thank you. Throughout this process, I've witnessed firsthand your appreciation for the vital role of the American judiciary. No president has ever consulted more widely or talked with more people from more backgrounds to seek input about a Supreme Court nomination. Mr. President, I am grateful to you, and I'm humbled by your confidence in me. Thank you. 30 years ago, President Reagan nominated Anthony Kennedy to the Supreme Court. The framers established that the Constitution is designed to secure the blessings of liberty. Justice Kennedy devoted his career to securing liberty. I am deeply honored to be nominated to fill his seat on the Supreme Court.
Let's not piss this victory away. Hillary's not getting what she wants. This is a victory.
My mom and dad are here. I am their only child. When people ask what it's like to be an only child, I say, it depends on who your parents are. I was lucky. My mom was a teacher. In the 1960s and 70s, she taught
All right,
history.
Roger, we're going to go back to this in a minute. Why do you think they went with him? For confirmation reasons?
Look, I suspect the hand of Vice President Pence and Mitch McConnell. Remember, he was the establishment candidate, and they may have persuaded the president he was most easily confirmable. I don't know that is the case. The real question is, in his confirmation hearings, is he going to be asked about the claims of Patrick Knowlton that he was surveilled, interrogated, threatened, bullied, and told to change his testimony by federal prosecutor Brett Kavanaugh? To me, that seems to be a perfectly reasonable question. Whether you believe Vince Foster died of his own hand as the final report showed, or whether you believe he was murdered is not the point. The point is Patrick Knowlton was a poor citizen who saw what he should not have seen, and his honest testimony would have disproved Ken Starr's final report on the death of Vince Foster.
Sure. You mentioned the Vince Foster stuff, but my bigger concern is the civil liberties issues. It's kind of like Alan Dershowitz said. He hoped they'd bring in a libertarian to kind of balance out the authoritarian left and some of the extreme right-wingers. That's what I would have wanted to see. And where is Rand Paul going to be as one of the key votes? Or will he do like he did with Pompeo for Secretary of State and just parlay that? Or will Rand Paul kill this nomination?
Well, Rand Paul, working with the Democrats, you could find that Brett Kavanaugh could be borked. Then the president would get a second nomination. It's happened twice before that we know of. It happened to Nixon with Clement Haynsworth. It happened with Reagan and Robert Bork. So that's a possibility too. It ain't
so what's
over.
the calculation? They told him, oh no, Mr. President, this guy's a sure thing.
But let's see how the Democrats react to this. I don't, does he lose Collins and Murkowski as we think he will? If he then loses Rand Paul, he could be in trouble. Rand Paul's in a very, very powerful position now. He could bork this nomination if he wanted to.
Well, I don't want to be butthurt here, but I trust you. You're a smart guy. You were against this guy. I looked into it. That stuff's going on. But he does have a pretty good overall voting record on Second Amendment, borders, things like that. And he's seen as the safe candidate. The other guys and the other lady Barrett.
Never arguing that he's not a conservative, but he is not our kind of conservative. He's a globalist, and therefore you never know where they're going to be.
Well, then we're going to take the president. Obviously, we're happy it's not Hillary.
I trust him on this, exactly.
But we're going to know down the road whether Trump's instincts were right, which are normally right. So just getting into your brain, what do you think, Roger Stone? I mean, he obviously, he looks very charismatic. He has good rapport with the president. He seems genuinely very kind of like a lovable guy. I think that might have sold the president because he's coming off as like a really genuine guy watching him on TV.
It's hard to know because all of my intelligence through many sources were telling me while he was a strong early front runner, he had faded. The Rand Paul announcement was harmful. There was very clearly more and more talk about Judge Barrett and Judge Kethledge. And then Hardiman comes out of nowhere like a dark horse, suddenly appearing on lists on Sunday that he wasn't on Saturday. So it was very hard to read. In the end, obviously, Kavanaugh either made a comeback or his chances never really faded. I hope the president has done the right thing here. But his closeness to the Bushes and Karl Rove is problematic for me. I'll support the president's nominee. I'm not arguing he's not a conservative, but he's not our kind of conservative.
Here's the next big issue, and then we're going to let you go and get Lionel, former prosecutor on TV personality, to give us his take on this. Let's talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She looks like, and I'm being mean here, but she looks like my grandmother looked right before she died. And you see her in public events, she's asleep. At the State of the Union, you see her in other events, she can hardly talk. She's obviously hanging on like a last leaf in autumn as the winter winds blow. I don't know how long she can hang on. I mean, looks like Trump, even in his first term, is going to get 3. In fact, I predict he's going to get 3. What's your take on that?
Well, I suspect that Justice Ginsburg is holding on to see how the Senate elections come out this November. If the Democrats were to capture the Senate, where the next Supreme Court justice has to be confirmed, that could give her freedom to retire. But I don't think she wants to retire if Donald Trump and the Republicans can replace her. I think that's what's keeping her in place.
Who else could leave the court, or is it Ginsburg yet?
I think Ginsburg is your next most logical candidate. And of course, what we now know is who the front runners would be for that position. There would be Kethledge, there would be Hardiman, and there'd be, I suspect, particularly with the retirement of a woman, that the prospects of Judge Barrett would be back on the table. She would have been an outstanding pick, and perhaps in a different political atmosphere, she will yet get selected.
Let's go back to Kavanaugh and hear if he's telling more puppy dog stories. Here it is.
And the American rule of law. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, let's make one thing straight. The Democrats aren't happy right now, so.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. Look, there was even an argument that the president should wait till after the election because he's.
Oh, no way! They want to stall it.
Yeah, well, not happening. Well, we will see how this works out. We will know shortly whether he's another David Souter, another John Roberts, or whether he turns out to be a constitutionalist and a solid conservative. Let's see.
Well, let's make one thing for sure. Hillary's not in, and this is a victory overall, and let's hope that his connection to the Bushes and all these people doesn't end up having him engage in traitorous activity. But the Trump's gotten a lot of people to flip over to him, but I agree with you that this is obviously has the hands of Mitch McConnell. And let's go ahead and punch that back up as the president walks away, please. And, of course, the Vice President, Mike Pence. All right. Well, Roger Stone, any other points?
I think we have hit it. The point here is still Trump is going to have a more solid conservative majority on the U.S. Supreme Court if Brett Kavanaugh is confirmed. I'd say watch Rand Paul now very, very carefully. He's in the catbird seat. There is the possibility of this nomination meeting the same fate of that of Robert Bork, which became just too controversial. And then Reagan had to replace him, pull his nomination, and replace him essentially with another nominee.
Well, sure. And I mean, here's my deal. I don't want to damage the president's winning streak here and have Kavanaugh pulled down And Rand Paul didn't want to confirm Pompeo from CIA to State Department, but did it when he made assurances. So I think we're going to follow the same pattern where Kavanaugh is going to have to make assurances on his civil liberties activities, like locking marijuana smokers up. I mean, give me a break, man. Just this idea that we've got with, the opiate sellers of the big pharma is fine, but if your teenager gets caught with pot, 2 years and 5 years in prison, and you've got reefer madness statements by the Attorney General. I mean, just this whole group of mummified conservatives that are holding back libertarian, constitutional, free market capitalism. Just get out of the way. You're the only obstacle to us taking the country back, damn it.
Well, and the other thing, Alex, is there's no doubt about it. Senator Rand Paul is the single most principled member of the U.S. Senate. This is a guy who is consistent, and he's always on the right side of any civil liberties, civil rights questions.
And like you said, he's the future of the Republicans if they want a future.
He's skeptical about war and foreign entanglements. He's for solid money. I mean, he really is he's a gut fighter, and I admire him more and more.
All right, Roger Stone, StoneColdTruth.com, reporting for Infowars.com and NewsWars.com. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here.
All right, I'm going to do this. I think we should open the phones up, and we have Lionel coming up. I'm gonna go to break. Lionel's going to take over. First, I'm going to talk to Lionel about 5 minutes. We have him yet? I'm going to go to Lionel for 5 minutes. We're going to go to a little break. Then I'm going to have Dew and the other great crew come in here and talk to Lionel, and then take your calls for about an hour and get your take. I appreciate the crew staying late. We're hiring more crew to go 20 hours a day live, maybe 24 hours a day live. So we've already got a bigger crew. But we've got some of our main crew doing that. We've got from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're live now. We intend to add more shows by the end of the year, up to like midnight every night, maybe even a show overnight. I'm not trying to compete with Coast to Coast AM. They're on 600 radio stations, but I'm friends with George Norris, so I'm just pointing out that it'll be an internet TV show, radio show. Some stations will pick it up, obviously. We haven't developed that show yet, but that's why it's important to financially support us and realize that whether it's air filtration, water filtration, non-GMO heirloom seeds, Patriot T-shirts, books, films, the great supplements we sell. The 4th of July special is not ended yet because I haven't come up with the new specials. We'll have those on Wednesday, so take advantage of those, InfoWarsStore.com. I got to say, I went with all the news that Kavanaugh was being left behind, and I thought that was positive for the other judges, but he has a pretty good voting record. He has a really bad pedigree of where he came from, but, that's the Bushes and who was in power. So I really trust the president, but we'll see what happens with this because, it's like, and I'm not a marijuana smoker. I've smoked it before, but I just don't say lock people up for it. And it's like Sessions keeps going, we're going to give you 20 years in prison for marijuana. We're going to go back to 1950. And then Trump hears about it and goes, no, it's the states we're decriminalizing. And then Oklahoma moves to legalize it because Trump is giving leadership. I'm a libertarian. I'm not for suicide. But if you want to go buy a shotgun and shove it in your mouth and pull the trigger, that's your right. Doesn't mean I support it. If you want to get Drano and drink it, it's going to kill your ass. But I'm not going to try to have a police state to stop you from buying Drano. And it's the same thing. Okay, marijuana's gotten really strong. Some people, it turns them into zombies. Other people that are super high strung keeps them from killing themselves. That's been proven. It's got a lot of good health effects. Glaucoma. Yeah, it's incredible. So I go back to the marijuana thing because you see Sessions, and he's just completely out of control. And if Trump would just get behind decriminalization, he would get the left on his side, the left that is an establishment, which he's done. So notice the media has been completely silent about all that. So let's go ahead and bring Lionel up to give us a prelude. So he's coming back there. We're going to get him on here. Lionel's a former prosecutor, syndicated radio and TV host. Lionel, you called it 12 days ago when this vacancy came up, and he had told Napolitano he might be next, but you pointed out he was too old. He's a state judge.
Never said he was too old. I never said he was too old. That wasn't it. This is in terms of actual pedigree, you can't beat this. Ivy League, juridical. This is what you need for this. This is another example. By the way,
sure, you're saying it's like its own language, its own planet.
Right, but there's also there's stuff to this. I hate to say it, but there's a lot to being a judge which nobody hears anything about. Look, here's the Constitution, and everybody thinks they know it and they think they understand it. But here is the best thing. The best is to find out what it doesn't say. The Constitution never even mentions the number of judges or justices. Doesn't mention the Air Force. Doesn't mention marriage. Doesn't mention voting. Doesn't mention, I don't know how much. It is so, I hate to break it to you, it is so limited in what it discusses. Sometimes it's right on the money. Sometimes it's not. I like the fact that you've got somebody who has spent his life toiling over heady stuff, matters of jurisprudence that'll bore the living you know what out of you. So that's okay. One of these days, I like to have more trial lawyers, kind of a street lawyer type, but we're not going to see that anytime soon. We're also not going to be able to point to something. I think somebody said, I don't like what he did about metadata. He said that metadata was not. Well, I want to read the case. I want to know under the context, because I'm telling you, Alex, so help me God, I might ask you, what do you think about this? And I'll say, great. Now let me show you what a judge has to decide, and you'll realize that you don't even get to answer the question of whether you are for something or against something. Sometimes it is so limited. That notwithstanding, watch them right now sharpen their swords, sharpen their spears, and go after him. Did you see him mention his Catholic school education? The fathers, the nuns, his family, Catholic. They're going to try to say that he's sworn, obviously, an enemy of a woman's right to choose.
Sure. So he kind of jumped in that briar patch because Barrett didn't get it because of her strong Christian Catholic faith. He kind of jumped in there. He kind of announced that.
Right. And listen, they're not going to, I'm telling you, you might say, well, will they limit the appeal? If you're going to see, if you're going to limit the range of Roe, it's not going to be from the court. It's going to be from the legislature. It's going to be from the legislatures doing it and the court backing off and saying.
Sure, Trump's already kicked it to the states. So we're going to break here. We're going to come back and have the floor. Rob Dew's coming in. I'm going to be listening and watching here in the studio. Gut level, Kavanaugh was seen as the kind of establishment Republican, but as a judge, pretty conservative voting record. You're a lawyer yourself. What do you think of Kavanaugh? I mean, you seem overall to be pleased, or am I misreading?
He's competent. I want a competent judge who knows how to be a judge, what a judge does and what a judge doesn't do. And I'm sorry to say this, political ideology is irrelevant to me because a real judge doesn't allow political ideology.
Well, that's what Trump kept saying. He said, Kavanaugh told me he's going to execute the Constitution.
And if you want to find out what a scary judge is, listen to what Sotomayor said about the recent travel ban case. Listen to that. If you want to see what a judge is. No, I agree.
The Democrats under Obama, he put 2 total loon balls in that just, I mean, I'm not even a lawyer, but I read what they say. It sounds like emotional crap. And all these lawsuits against me that are getting thrown out, they're like comic book, the stuff they make up. And even Democrat judges are throwing them out because it's just, so thank God there's something still going on in the judges where they don't just accept pure crap. But see, if they start doing that, if they start accepting that, what happens?
And Alex, think about this, though. You've got a 5-4 majority now, theoretically, that's conservative. You then have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who, let's face it, could retire at any moment.
She looks like she's already dead.
Well, she doesn't. She's seen better days. 6'3". Now, maybe she's just inspecting the carpet, taking tremendous interest in the carpet. But remember, too, look at Breyer next to her. Breyer's going to be 80. You could theoretically, Alex, see a 7-2 conservative Supreme
there's no
Court.
doubt if Trump wins election, I think you're going to have that.
Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is if you want to play this conservative liberal, right now, I think somebody, Dennis Miller, who every now and then says something interesting, said you're going to see Sotomayor and Kagan act as the Laverne and Shirley of the bench. I mean, these are cataclysmic times that will affect everybody. So let's give Judge Kavanaugh a chance. Don't point to one case, look at one particular ruling. Let's just sit back, but understand it's not what he thinks that the Constitution is about. It's what he thinks it's not about. That's what I want to know.
Well, like you said, the left always says take the guns, this and that. It's a living, breathing document, and you're right. Strict constructionism is what we've gone with in many cases. Thank God for it. But then we've gotten also a lot of bad rulings because they don't even know how to equate all the stuff that's going on with what's in it. And so it just should be what's pro-human, what's pro-Renaissance, what's pro-freedom. We'll see. We're going to go to break. Lionel, great prosecutor, great political mind. LionelMedia.com is coming up after the break. And Rob and some other folks are coming in here. I'm going to be watching and listening with my wife, who's in studio right now. We can give a shot back there, have her say hi to everybody. It's always good. Honey, turn around and say hi to the camera there. Anyways, go ahead and turn around. Your head's not in the shot. Just anyways. So we'll go to break and come out with Lionel on the other side. Infowars.com, newswars.com. We'll obviously be taking your calls coming up later as well. They're going to give the number out. And we're also going to do a lot more on the other side of this quick break. Why do we have a 512 number in there? I know we have a bunch of 1-800 numbers. I just see the call-ins 512. Okay, where's that? Oh, there it is. It's over there. Well, I don't see one on that piece of paper. Oh, I see it over there. That's great. We might want to put it on there. I'm not bitching. I kind of like the studio. Maybe I should start doing my show out of this studio, you know. We're building a lot of studios for all the shows we're going to launch. So it's all here. The number is 888-201-2244. Your questions for Lionel, former prosecutor, syndicated talk show host. Rob and others coming up. 888-201-2244. If you disagree with Kavanaugh, you like Kavanaugh, whatever your comments are on this, 888-201-2244. 888-201-2244 is the number to join us. And just call in. If it rings, just keep calling in. We'll get to you. Because the phone system is going to take hundreds of calls at once, so it kind of all backs up. So it's kind of winning the lottery here, but we want to hear from you. 888-201-2244. Well, Ann Coulter said it was Kavanaugh, and I said, you know, Ann Coulter said that the Fukushima people should be thankful because radiation's good for you. Not against her. I said maybe she's full of prunes, as Dan Rather used to say, but she's right. So I eat crow on that front. The latest news is at Infowars.com and newswars.com. We'll go to break and come back with Lionel from LionelMedia.com and Rob Dew and the rest of the crew and your phone calls at 888-201-2244. I'm Alex Jones, and you are watching The Resistance. You are watching The Real Defense Against Globalism, and you are watching Victory.
Staying healthy on the go is just as important as staying healthy at home. But sometimes supplements don't work fast enough. That's why InfoWars Life has created a powerful new addition to the Super Blue line, Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle. Available in 1 ounce, 3.5 ounce, and 16 ounce bottles, Immune Gargle is perfect for the bathroom, kitchen, or wherever you go. The incredible new purifying formula is dentist recommended for daily use whenever you feel like you need to stay clean. As a powerful hand purifier or oral cleansing formula, just a small spray will help you stay clean when you feel surrounded by toxins. With powerful yet simple ingredients, Immune Gargle features Silver Sol Nano Silver for a powerful cleansing alternative. With Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle, staying toxin-free is easy and affordable. Help stop the spread of toxins and stay healthy with Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle. Only available at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Extendowise, the latest product from InfoWarsLife.com, fuses all the known compounds that have been proven to be good for our hearts and cardiovascular system. And listen, everybody's got a heart. Well, actually, maybe Hillary and George Soros don't, but everybody else has a heart, and this product is amazing. So, if you have a heart and you want the very best product out there that's designed to aid a healthy heart and cardiovascular system, it's Extendowise, available at InfoWarsLife.com. And like all of our products are game changers, this baby is the most souped up, awesome version the top formulators can come up with and still be affordable. It's one of the very best heart pills out there. It's Extendowise. So get some for yourself and family and friends. It's got the very best fish oil from the fjords. It's very, very pure, very, very clean, and has the EPA type that is specifically good for the heart, cardiovascular system. It's got the properly formulated type of CoQ10 and more. It is Extendowise, now available at InfoWarsLife.com.